100, 200 people there in the crowd. Anyway, we're being joined now by Fox 5's Richard Giacobbe. He's been on the ground there in Times Square for probably, at this point, a couple of hours. And Richard, you know, I don't know if you've covered any New Year's Eve celebrations there in Times Square before, but if you have, man, this one must be quite bizarre and quite different.
No, I'm good. My producer.
For sure, Andrew. Well, let's go back to last year. It was my first New Year's Eve covering Times Square, and it was so much fun. This year, though, it's not that much fun. I will say there's probably a little bit of a different feel here. It's almost eerie when you look out at the crossroads of the world. I mean, I'm standing now where normally millions of people would normally be, and you don't get the feeling that it's even New Year's Eve. I mean, I don't even remember the last time that Times Square looked like this. So it's certainly a different feel this year. There are a number of essential workers, about 40 of them, that have been invited by the Times Square Alliance to come here this year and watch the ball drop. But as for any public revelers who want to come and try to get anywhere near here, they have streets blocked off for quite a few avenues away.
I mean, honestly, it doesn't feel prepared.
And you know, Richard, I was just kind of curious as well. There's, you know, going to be performances. There's going to be, you know, confetti. But come tomorrow morning, when usually New Yorkers descend on Times Square and they see it all just kind of littered with confetti still, what do you think that vibe is going to be like come January 1st tomorrow morning?
Hey, Alex, well, yeah, the crowds may be thinner, they may be quieter.
Well, here's the thing with that. So they've been kind of blasting us with confetti every hour here. There's like little bursts of them, and then you'll get some fireworks, and I guess that's leading up to it. But once the ball actually drops, tons of confetti are supposed to rain down on Times Square. Not to real people this year, but just on the streets. The good news for those cleanup crews, though, is that they'll be able to move all this confetti out of here and not have to fight for people to get home. They'll just be able to come in, clean it up. So I think they'll be able to finish up a little earlier on New Year's Day morning. So that's some good news, at least for them.
And Richard, I was just kind of reading about, you know, the history of Times Square, the history of the ball drop before speaking with you, and it's been going on since 1907. But 2 years, 42, 43, because of World War II, the lights were not on in Times Square because they were afraid of air raids and aerial bombardments and the like. So this is quite historic when no one is there to really usher in 2021. From some of the people you've talked to that are there, have they been there to celebrate before in Times Square, or is this kind of like their first time and they're experiencing it and so it's so different?
We haven't really gotten a chance to talk to anyone that's been here before and then have come back. But I think for those, at least our essential crews, you know, our production crews and those that work in television news, those that have covered this in the past, I mean, obviously it is very, very different this year. You know, and what's so incredible about this is that all the lights are still on here in Times Square. I mean, you're looking at us and it almost looks like there is some normalcy, but then when you're actually here and you don't see any people, that's where it gets a little tricky. So, you know, I think for the people that have been here in the past and are still here today, this one will definitely go down like those other moments you mentioned in the history books.
All right, Fox 5's Richard Giacobbe there live for us on NewsNOW in Times Square. Richard, thanks for your time, and try to stay warm and have a good night. Happy New Year as well.
Yeah, New York.
You got it. Thanks. Happy New Year, Andrew. Thanks.
All right, and like Richard said, obviously Times Square much different this year. You know, it kind of reminds me of a diorama in a museum in what Times Square would normally look like, you know, without any people. But obviously this is the world we're living in, the restrictions there in New York City. So hopefully in 2021, at the end of 2021, it'll be teeming with hundreds of thousands of people like it is normally. Anyway, we're going to go now to a commercial break. So like